Showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. On time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no fight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder.
Good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears with my special guest tonight, Miss Dottie, sitting in the co-host seat. Hello, my little non-binary attack of the claw psychic. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm about lost in the middle of pissed off and aggravated. Hi, Miss Brenda. How are you?
That seems about right for this day and age.
Well, you know, it's going to be interesting because, of course, we just got the docket out of the Supreme Court, but we all know about the docket of the Supreme Court and what they just finished their term in doing, which is destroying our rights. What's your thoughts, darling?
Oh, and my idea is that it is a cascading effect and that it makes me very, very uncomfortable because as we found with the abortion laws that reverted back to something from the 1800s, the moment that collapsed.
1834.
1834, yeah. That's when there are similar such laws still codified in West Virginia. So if they fall at a federal level and we revert back, then what's on the books now is what's keep going. And and that means gay marriage because in West Virginia code, marriage is defined as being between a man and a woman.
Yes. And not only that, but, you know, and I think, I'll be honest, I'll be really bitchy honest, I'm more upset with abortion. Like, I never in my life thought about getting married. Like, that wasn't possible. When someone says they have a kid, I'm like, huh? Oh, yeah, we adopted 4 years ago. Those are things that are unfathomable in my brain. I know that our younger generation is kind of like, what do you mean you don't think about it? There were certain things we gave up.
Right. Yeah, certain things you just sacrificed to be who you were. And you know what? This is something because we were talking about how, because I'm a bisexual. Out and proud and loud. Bisexual, non-binary. You all probably don't really see my man side because it comes out more in weird places, like when I do physical labor. I'm the bitch you can call to help you shovel gravel.
I remember that. But no, some of it does because some of your outfits look fucking fabulous on you.
Oh yeah, I've got a suit, and sometimes I'll slick my hair back, and that's why I got the mohawk, was so women would start hitting on me. It didn't work. Although I have
think you're not shopping in the right district, honey.
Probably not. I mean, it's West Virginia. The Slims is Pickens.
Importing is best.
Right. Here's the thing is also, like, I'm too old to, like, hunt. I'm like, I don't want to go out there and my fan just literally fell apart.
We're going to have to get you another one.
It was $1.
That one into a headdress.
Not heartbroken. I'll turn it. Yeah, that would be a great headdress. Like,
yeah. The other way, but yes. Make it into like, flip it up. There you go. Now put it around your head and we'll make you a crown out of it. There we go. Yeah, we could definitely do something with that.
Put a bird on top of it?
Yeah.
Make it a fastener?
Make it a tail, you know, blend it through the mohawk, like weave it.
I'll go to my old standby.
Shade. Yeah.
Shade never made anybody less gay.
Yeah. Now we did get our first BIPOC I'm going to use the wrong term, and I'm sorry. African American justice today. She was sworn in.
Right. POC is what I've always heard, like a person of color.
Yes.
That's the one I've heard. Now, if they've changed the term again, I don't know, because honest to God, this is one of those things that does kind of frustrate me, but I understand, like, the constant changing of terminology, especially, like, for my bisexual crowd out there, then you know. But, like, there was a minute there, I have some, like, teeny boppers, some 20-nothings, some 20-nothings telling me that I'm transphobic because I identify as bisexual. I'm like, no, baby, that's just what all there was. And it even, like, and most activists, people who are actually active in the community, don't feel like that. Like, I will follow several trans creators on YouTube who identify as bisexual.
Yeah.
So, no, being bisexual doesn't make you transphobic, and it's not a fucking phase. I'm not going to be less bisexual.
Right. Well, you know, and that's kind of like when we grew up. You know, bisexual was the stepping stone to full gay, full lesbian. That was the commonality. And it's like, no, that's not how it works.
It's not how any of this works.
Yes, figure it out. Define your own self. I get tired, you know, because I'm old bitch. I've got old terms, and most of the people I talk to still use those terms, and it's like, then we hear these newer terms, and it's like,
yeah, like I see the point of having so many terms, because they're not just about defining yourself to other people. They're about solidifying around something. You take those into your personality, which is why I usually just go with the good old-fashioned standby as queer. I mean, like, there's not a way you can use that word that it doesn't in some way describe me. Like, you take that back to the 1800s, you're like, that girl's a bit queer. She's always been a bit strange, but I think she's actually she's quite queer. You know, modern day, yeah, like,
now 20 years ago,
I don't know what title to put on this, but
20 years ago, I would have cussed you off this stream for calling yourself that.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was a cuss word. But I'm glad we're taking it back, because honestly, it's a good catch-all. Like, we are the queer community rather than the LGBT, all the fucking letters.
LGBTQIA plus community.
Right. Like, I sat down and really, really put it all together. And my personal alphabet is neurodivergent, mentally ill, non-binary, poly, pan, pagan, Pisces.
Wow.
It's got a list. So it's much easier just to say I'm a good old-fashioned proud queer.
Well, true. I mean, if we want to lay out labels, let's see. Dom verse top bitch. And yes, I own that one.
Same.
Gay. Dyslexic, possibly neurodivergent. Still out on that one. So, yeah.
I think dyslexia falls under neurodiversity. The only things I've really, really seen that were covered fully under neurodiversity, of course, and this is an expanding term. This is sort of a new way to describe it, because before they were called learning disabilities. When I was young, I was told I had a learning disability, which really was a cop-out for the system.
Yes.
And that's what it was. It was a cop-out for teachers who didn't want to spend the extra time it took.
Right. Hi, Devin, darling. How are you?
Hello.
Yes, it is Friday night. This is Mountain Bears. We have Dottie guesting with us. But no, terms have changed over the years. And it's like, I'm sorry, boys now pop up into my chat and they're like, so you're Dom? Yeah. Oh, great, because I'm bottom. And I'm like, no, honey. No. Go back to your dictionary. Go look up that word and then come back to me.
It is a little different.
It is.
I'm not going to say, like, I have no skin in the game being a vagina owner.
I debate that.
Well, just in the whole top versus bottom thing. I'm like, okay.
Oh, I debate that one seriously.
this is something that has always kind of bothered me that I have noticed, and it doesn't affect the women so much because it's just a different physical dynamic. Physically speaking, there's a different dynamic. There's not that same top bottom. You know, if you're going to be a top, then you should be at least a switch because, you know, if you're going to willing to do something to somebody that you're not willing to have done to you, you got to think that out.
Right. That's where birth comes in. Right. But no, honey. I'm sorry. I know many lesbians that can rebuild my car while I cooked them dinner, and it has occurred. I know very many lesbians that'll look at me and go, "What the fuck do you think you're doing? Give me that makeup and go the fuck alone and leave me alone."
Oh yeah, but I love a lipstick lesbian. God, there's something that just gets to me about a woman that is just well put together.
Exactly. So I think the top bottom goes there very, very much so in all the couples I've seen. It's like she's the top of this relationship or the masculine one. She's the bottom or the feminine one.
You know, and there does seem to be like a butch femme narrative.
Which very much so.
It's funny because the somebody who I'm very much in love with, but we do not have a physical relationship. We have that dynamic where I get to be the butch and she's absolutely the femme, but then like with my boyfriend, he's a mechanic.
Yeah.
Like he is all man. He's like, nope. Because he's old country boy too. So there's.
So are we going to put him to work with Gypsy?
Maybe. I need to get that bitch worked on. I haven't touched her in a minute.
I'll be putting that on his honey to-do list.
No, I'm not. I don't want to do that to him because he works on cars for a living. So like, I do need to just get. I have made the mistake of thinking that I would find time when I need to make time. I'm like, okay, this is the time I have. I'm going to cut out this time and just do it.
Right. But no, there are definitely different dynamics in different relationships, and it depends on the dude. For me, it depends on the dude. For you, it depends on the partner.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I don't feel like it's unique, but like, here's the thing. I have this theory that, like, especially being in non-traditional relationships, those rules aren't preset. So I think that sharing the duties, as long as everybody's doing their fair share.
Exactly.
As long as everybody's doing their fair share, because really that's what it comes down to.
Right. And it does come down to that. It comes down to balance. It comes down to my favorite word when I talk about relationships, negotiations.
Equality between the sexes. Look, you know what? If you want to be a stay-at-home, if you want to have a traditional household, 1950s style, mama stays at home and does all the housework. I'm not all about the submitting to men. Like I can't. Too much feminism in me.
Honey, if you thought that staying home, having the 1950s relationships means you submit to the to the masculine partner, oh God, that dynamic has gotten so screwed over 40 damn years.
Right. Like my grandparents, my father's parents, and even my mother's parents had, they were around in the 1950s. So of course they had the 1950s dynamic. And number one, nobody was getting out of shit. Number one, nobody was getting out of shit.
Right.
And number two, it was a partnership. Like
it was. But the other part of that is most of the 1950s, and they love to post it like the women did nothing but clean house and cook. Bullshit. Excuse me? My grandmother, put 13 husbands in the ground. She worked and cooked and cleaned, and by golly, she had her paychecks delivered to her on Friday at 2:00. And if he was late, he wasn't getting his allowance.
See, there you go. And Shannon was talking about how grandma ran the household, and often that's how it was. Like, that was one of the aspects that people kind of skate over, is that in a traditional home, the man may be over the house. He may be the one who's in charge of the finances, but the woman will rule the roost.
And, you know, it's kind of like my house. If Papa ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm a little on the tired side.
Well, I know, honey. I dragged you out of bed. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, no problem. I try to be available to my friends. If they're willing to help me, I try to be that friend. And this is just part of being in a group. And you're gonna be you can't expect more than what you're given anywhere.
Right. You know, and I think that part of the problem is, and we try to do it on Mountain Bears, is gay history. It gets covered up. It gets, you know, I got into a Reddit debate earlier today, and I wanted to talk to you about this and get your thoughts from another camp within the rainbow.
Right.
I'm going to assume this 20-something twink with washboard abs and tan, thin skin, because I saw pictures. You know, sorry, they're going to post. Comes on and says, I don't understand why there's so many flags. We just need one flag to unify. It gets confusing.
Okay, on one hand, I can understand that, yes, it gets confusing. But on the other hand, like, if you go back into the history of how we became the way we became, actually, Verily Bitchy, she is a trans woman, bisexual, who does a lot of bisexual studies. Like, because we're kind of the forgotten ones. We're always, and I noticed with women, bisexual women are infantilized. Like, oh, all women are bisexual. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine, but not all women are catching shit for it.
Well, not all women are bisexual. I'm sorry. It's like not all men are bisexual.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. I've had this debate with others, and they go, well, bisexual just means that he'll eventually come out of the closet. No, it means that he's turning positive for today. He may turn negative tomorrow. Well, damn who?
Like, I am bisexual. That's my coming out of the closet. I like men and I like women for different reasons. I've learned that I'm bisexual, not so much because I'm not just attracted. And that's another thing about being bisexual. Like, it has now become an umbrella for other terms, which is great, because back when I came out, it was just bisexual. There was gay, straight, and bisexual. Lesbians were gay. They're really, you know. But if you get a chance to really look into the history, like, there have been several points where the gay community has tried to push out the bisexuals and the trans together. Like, we came together. We came to this party together.
And I agree, they have. And it's been bullshit. Especially when most of, like, Stonewall was started by two drag queens, a leather daddy, and a butch girl.
Right.
Like, it's debatable which one of these four threw the shot glass.
Oh, what was the diner in like San Francisco that kicked it off there? Because it wasn't like just one place.
No.
Stonewall was actually apparently pretty late in it.
Yeah. Give me a minute.
Something diner. But anyway, you know, I bounce around and I'm tired, so I'm going to be a little extra about it.
I enjoy it.
But, like, the bisexuals, bisexuals are bisexuals. We, you know, and I did.
Cafe riot.
Right. I have been more infantilized about it. Like, oh, okay, well, whatever. My ex kind of used it against me. Like, he's like, every time I try to make a female friend, just a friend, he would want to talk them into going to bed. And so they would get drunk, and party girls, you know.
Right.
I don't think that they were actually bisexual. I think that they were just drunk, and they have kind of expected to be like that, you know. Right. And then we'd never speak to them again because, I don't know, that was probably a little much to put out there, and I apologize for anybody who's triggered.
You're fine, and we will get over this show triggers everybody because it's supposed to create content and conversation.
All right. Yeah, I should have probably given a little content warning before I brought that up. But anyway, like it.
Honey, it's in the bio. It says it's funny and it's weird.
Right.
And I favor curtsy words.
Right. But like my bisexuality was kind of used against me. But as a woman, it's a little more overlooked. But a bisexual man, I've seen it in our community. Mm-hmm. Like there are open and bisexual women who wouldn't have sex with a bisexual man. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you're fucking ridiculous.
Again,
you're ridiculous.
It's very ridiculous. It's very crazy, but that's how our little community pops. Now, guys, I'm sorry, I'm home alone, so I have to run and grab cigarettes. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Tracy Van. I provide a blended reading consisting of mediumship, psychic, and tarot cards. A reading from me can cover any guidance you need from relationships with your partner or your family, spiritual, financial, any questions you may need clarity on. If you would like to book an appointment with me, check out my website, tracyvann.com. That's TRACYVANN.com. I have bookings from 15 to 60 minutes you may choose from. That helps if you just have a quick question, need an answer, or if you're looking for a reading in more depth, I'm here to provide the guidance and clarity for you. Let's just figure it out. Bye.
All right, we're back.
Yeah, this has been a rough night. So
it's been a really interesting night. Just to let everyone know what's going on, Techie Joe is doing the transport of the invisible assistant. So we are kind of operating alone. Yes, I'm unsupervised, but Dottie, this could be majorly worldwide movements coming out of this network. But no, and it's the strangest shit.
It is. Okay, so as I told you about like the kids trying to tell me I'm transphobic because I identify as bi, and that's just what I came out as. Like that's right. Just but really, am I pansexual? Am I omnisexual? I don't have time to sit there and figure it all out. So
okay, back this up. You gave a term and I need to know what it means. Omnisexual, does that mean you only eat vegetables now?
Okay, well, omni is an all term. Okay. So pansexuals, and this is breaking down bisexuality because the bisexual flag was designed, blue for girls, pink for boys, and purple for those who lie in betwixt.
Yep.
Pansexual are people who are not necessarily attracted to gender itself, but rather to personality traits. Like, honestly, I call myself pan. When it counts, I guess I usually stick with bi. Number one, I like the flag better. I just think it's more aesthetically pleasing. But because I'm really attracted to like two things: hygiene and responsibility. So like that would fall under more pan, whereas omnisexual would be somebody who is attracted to all genders. And there's trisexual, which is like 3 genders, which honestly, when I was a kid, trisexual means you would try anything once, is what it was.
Right.
It was a joke.
Well, and see, that's the problem is there's a lot of terms and we've got to get to know them. And we've got to know them quick because we're going to have to be able to fight for them again.
I really, really like, and I kind of wish that this had taken off. And I know why it didn't. I understand, but I like the Mogai model. Because rather than having to identify yourself, like these terms are great for you to learn of yourself.
Right.
But as a community, we should all identify as one thing. Like we're not just pieces come together. We're a community of people who realize we're different than the rest of the world. And I do at some point I would like us to stop being identified as only our oppression.
Right.
Because that's what pride has been since, like, we're being reminded that it was a political movement. Like, being proud is a political statement now, again. And there for a long time, it really wasn't. It just was something you were.
Right.
At least in my little corner of the world, because my parents were
Okay.
very open.
So to clarify, no, we do have gay marriage in this state. 9/4 of 2014. Legalized.
Yeah, that's when it was legalized everywhere. But no, if you read the code,
Now, looking at the current documentation, as of 2020 is when it was legalized across America. In 2014 is when we got gay marriage legalized state. The states that currently have it illegalized is Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, uh, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, South Dakota, Tennessee, and Texas. And I find it interesting that the San Francisco of the East, Columbus, is there.
okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So here, and I will put this in the links for those trying to check their rights. However, please remember, these rights are subject to change because, of course, they've not been qualified by the federal government. Oh, there we go. All right. So, yes, we need to be voting. We need to be working on voter registration. We need to be really pushing to get out the vote everywhere.
Yes, know what's on your ballot. Like,
Yeah.
I just put out a blog about this last week, this week, of like everything you should know if you choose to become politically active.
Well, I think that everyone should become politically active. But no, back to our what I call our posted notes. I think that it's really bad that our younger generation wants to eliminate those poster notes, especially like the bi posted note or the tri posted note or the two spirits posted note or the bear posted note or the leather posted note or the poly posted note.
I wonder if this wasn't just some kids putting their thoughts out online, because honestly, like, these banners rally people.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we should all stand as one.
Yes.
We are all part of a rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
But being part of that rainbow means we each have our own little colors and things that make us individual.
Right.
So, I mean, I really like the bi flag. And there's definitely, because people's minds change incrementally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the gays and the lesbians, when it first came out, they had a real problem with trans people and bi people.
Well, and here's why.
Yeah,
they had a real problem with it because they didn't fit into the heteronormal section.
Right. They're not monosexual.
Right.
Or monogendered.
Mm-hmm.
They don't fit into the standard binary, which is something that, even though, like, I think especially it was with the lesbian movements that they were more upset, because a lot of them became anti-man. It wasn't so much that they necessarily wanted to be with women, it's just that they had a real problem with men.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's when we got the indoctrination of very negative feminism.
Right.
Granted, there's a difference between real feminism and what I call show feminism. Real feminism says that we're all equal. Show feminism says only it is biological females are what they represent.
God. If I hear one more time that stupid TERF slogan, what is it? Adult human female bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you can't make your own, store-bought's fine, baby. That's how I feel about hormones and baking.
Exactly.
Of course, I'm a divorcee, so that makes me like a natural ally for trans people, because, like, it's not the same experience, but there's a lot of parallels. That whole dead name thing, I'm still pissed off at a form. Like, I bought a car. Like, there was a year between leaving my ex and being able to change my name and go through the whole process, which was easier because I was divorcee than it would be for somebody who's trans.
Right.
And I'm not going to pretend like my experience was worse, but there's enough parallel that I can sympathize, you know?
I'll put it to you this way. It's still worse. It is still, both of them are worse to go through that legal process.
Like a 10 is a 10. Your 10 doesn't have to be.
Right.
I'm trying to stop, but...
Yes, your girl is smoking. She's smoking with me.
I'm trying to quit. It's bad.
Well, I understand that, but I'm going to tell you right now, the more guilt you give yourself, the worse it is.
Well, I've sat down and made a plan, and then it went to hell. Like, Roe v. Wade happened. I'm like, I smoked a pack that day. I'm like...
Oh, honey, I smoked a carton that day. Yeah.
But... so...
But no, where were we at? Sorry, it's been a really tiring, stressful day, and we're all over the place, both of us. But no, here's the thing, and this is this is what we've been seeing out of everywhere else. When it seems like everybody around, the more we can get the infighting going on, the easier it is to pick us off.
That's true. And in that case, like, I understand why rallying around one banner, being and moving as one is very important, especially right now. But that doesn't mean you get rid of all the banners. That just means we remember that we're all under the pride flag.
Right. You know, and all within that pride flag. And that pride flag needs to include real allies. That pride flag needs to include the leather community. Because I'm sorry, if we're going to protest, I want a full-fledged leather daddy in the front, leather head to fucking toe, gas mask on, going, tell me again, boy.
Right. And I mean, like, okay, here's something that people misconstrue about the BDSM community. My parents were proud members of the BDS community. They really were. But they also, it doesn't mean you're screwing in front of kids. Like, that's not, I don't know where people have picked this up, but I've heard it a number of times. I'm like, what do you actually think's going on at these pride events? Because that's not it.
Yeah.
Like, there may be a back room where people are getting together, but it's not like, it's a family affair.
Yeah. Like, the most you're going to see is ass cheeks, and I'm sorry, they'll see that on TV today on ABC.
Right.
Okay, and that's for the people that wear the chaps and forget the privacy screens. But it gets me. It's like, you want acceptance, you want total acceptance. So therefore, you need to accept everything, and you got to understand. To be honest, real bitchy honest. At 9 o'clock in the morning, when you're setting up an event, you know who's there? Your bull dykes, your organizers, your leather doms, and your bears. Why? Because we love our twings, but they don't rise till 10. We love our lipsticks, but they're not getting out the door till 11:30.
Because they got to get their face on. Like,
yes. And our queens and our trans, they don't leave till 12. And they shouldn't, because they need all the time they need to get ready to give us a good show.
It's true. Like, you know, putting on drag is not an easy thing. Like, I have only really ever dipped my toe in it. Like, I've got the wigs. You can see the wigs.
Damn, they're thirsty. I know. I'm going to send you some more light.
I haven't fucked with them in a while. Like, they need love back there. There's only one that's actually set. My death wig, my content warning wig. It's not really a death wig. It's my content warning wig. If you see me wear that wig, that means I might be saying something that's going to upset you.
Well, I'll guarantee him tonight I probably will.
And then there's like the literary librarian, and she kind of looks the way she's supposed to. Like, she's supposed to look that raggedy. She's not dressed. Like, she's not where I need her to be, but she's very poofy, very, like, she's supposed to look a little 1950s. Lost. So that I need all that volume. I just haven't dressed her in a while. Like,
yeah, she needs a coat of Aquanet and maybe some lacquer.
Yeah.
But no, if you go to Sturgis, honey, please, you're going to see more skin at Sturgis in Myrtle Beach
Oh yeah.
than you're going to see at Pride. And that
Way
includes
more.
New York Pride, that includes Speedos. But anyhow, I digress. But it's this movement within the community that annoys me. Okay? The movement to make it family friendly, the movement to make it heteronormative. See, we're just like you. That's not the whole point of Pride. The whole point of Pride is to go, fuck y'all, we're not like you, but you know what? We can make movement.
Right. I think here's the thing, like it very much it needs to be a family affair because there are a lot of teenagers who probably do not need to see all of that like we do, and we are presenting a front, a
Right.
face.
Yeah.
So we have to be concerned about how we present to a
Mhm.
certain extent. But then again, you're right. We do need to remind people that the reason that we're out here, we're here, we're queer, and we're not going anywhere
Mhm.
is because they want us to go to hell.
Mhm.
They want us to be some sort of monstrous thing.
Mhm.
And like,
Yeah. The other part is to realize that every part of the umbrella has a piece. And when
right.
we have had to deal with the plague, when we have had to deal with political issues, yes, Terry, we are taking questions this live. Um, but everybody has a piece.
Right.
Your leather runs your defenses. Your bears takes care of your offenses. Your dykes, they make sure everyone gets took care of. That's the reason L goes first.
Here's the thing. Like, there's something that I think that people overlook. It is taken a long time for the community to solidify in any sense of the word.
Right.
You had to bring the reason that so many flags for so many individual groups is because each one of them had to fight for their place under the umbrella of the rainbow flag, because a lot of places, and there's still biphobia in the queer community.
Yep.
There's still trans, but you can be was it the LGBs? I don't understand that at all.
LGB, yes. The
The
original,
LGBT.
actually, it was GLB.
GLB.
GLB, gay
Lesbians.
bi, was the original 1954 movement.
Well,
It
no, it wasn't. It was just LG or GL or something like that. LG, because it was a big lesbian push to kick out the bisexuals.
Right.
Actually, like I said, Verily Bitchy did a whole video on it. Like, she
Right.
actually deep dived and did the history on it. So, like, and even though, like, and you can see, like, if you watch specials about even the Stonewall riots, the people who were there, the transsexual women who were a big part of making that happen got booed off stage because the homosexual community wasn't willing to accept the trans community, and bisexuals were kicked out because they were really straight.
Yeah, they could pass. That's what I'm calling. I'm going to call it. They could pass.
I pass for nothing. Like, I'm a
honey.
What do I pass as? I pass as Dottie the Psychic, and that's about it.
Exactly. Well, that's like Aeson Knight. Aeson Knight passes us a lot. I always find it interesting. Like, different things, different ways. It's just like, really? Oh, honey, don't even. Like, I had a client tonight. I don't know how you put up with your husband. I says I do it with a little bit of Daviana about every 3 weeks. It keeps him calm.
But that's part of the reason that we do need so many flags. But we do have to remember we're still under one flag. And I understand, like,
but here's the thing: the flags make the flag.
Right.
Okay. If you ever take all the flags and put them into the big flag, it makes the flag.
What do you think of the newer flags, the newer pride flags, like the one with the arrows and the extra 2 bars and?
Okay, I have a few problems with it. I think that the original LGBTQ plus flag is great. I like it as it is. The progressed pride flag, it can get confusing, but there's multiple confusing points there. Yes, we've added people of color, we've added Native American, we've added the trans, but where's our allies? Like this big white piece here, if we're going to add, then let's add the allies. Because I'm sorry, they do us a service.
They do, and they belong under the flag too, because honestly, it comes down to this. Once you have decided to become an ally, you're assuming that if the crowd gets shot at, you're going to be in that crowd getting shot at. You're going to take the same flack from people who are homophobic, transphobic. You're going to be taking the same flack. That's what you agree to as an ally, is to vote and to argue and fight with us.
Right.
And I do think they deserve a place under the flag. And that's part why I wanted to go with like the Mogai model, because it binds us differently. Like rather than having to find our individual letter, which can be a confusing process. Like that's, like I said, that's part of why I just identify as queer. I'm like, okay, I don't have the time or patience to fully break down more than I need to personally what I am. I don't need to explain myself. That's why I go with queer, because I'm here, I'm queer, I'm not going anywhere. Like, what I am doesn't make any difference to you. I'm not, unless you're trying to get me into bed.
And I had Techie Joe make me a shirt that I really like. And in the back of it, it looks like it's a crossword puzzle that has all my, so you can look at it and go, boom. Okay, yeah, I see all your labels there. They're all in a crossword pieces, because that is that self-discovery. And I'm sorry, it's self-discovery.
That's cool. Yeah, I did say like getting into bed, but I have had asexual romantic partners.
Exactly. And the A's are highly important.
Yeah, the asexual, like I understand, like, and it kind of breaks my heart that somebody has to identify as asexual, because really you shouldn't have to explain why you don't want to have sex with somebody.
Oh, honey, that happens every day, though.
Right. Like, it's good for, that's another one of those labels that is good for somebody to know about themselves. You feel like they have a place. I think it's sad that they've had to cut out a place, like they've had to make a place. Like it's and they're getting their own set of flack. Like, what is this?
That's the whole point, is for all of us to have our own flags, so that we see that we're included. Now, what gets confusing, and it's caused me almost a couple times to get in trouble, is the leather flag, the blue and black.
Right.
The police flag is blue and black.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost gotten my mouth slapped a few times.
It bothers the hell out of me that the word patriot has been so absconded with, because
it's been hijacked.
It's been downright hijacked by one half of the population. Like, they assume that they love the country more than I do. I've got blood in this soil 200 years back. I got family and a life here. I am proud of my country. I'm embarrassed for her because of all this nonsense.
Right.
But I love my country.
Well, I love this country, but at the same time, when this country is applying laws that my great grandparents freed themselves were able to be freed from slavery in Romania to travel to this country and to bribe a captain to take them on ship to get to this country, it aggravates me.
I understand why people are boycotting for 4th of July. I just wouldn't.
Right. And because that's what they want. Okay, this is a boycott I'm not for, and here's why. It's because it's what they want. They want us to shut up, go to our little boxes, have our little talkie with each other, and just talk with each other until they come for us.
Now, see, and that's part of why, like, I want to go to the 4th of July parties.
Right.
Like, I want to go, like, anything that's public. I want to go to these American celebrations of America in my pride gear.
Right.
I'm actually going to a friend's house because, like, I really didn't make plans, but this is our country too.
Mm-hmm.
We have rights. That's the thing that unifies America is our belief in our own and our right to, life, liberty, and the pursuit of freedom. Or
right.
pursuit of happiness.
Yep. And here's the thing also is to remember they work for us.
Right.
By the people, for the people, employed by the people, for the people.
Right.
Not representing the people.
I mean, like I said, I understand why people aren't celebrating.
Right. I mean, I understand it. But I also think that I will be very controversial. I think our forefathers, which I learned something in history today that I didn't know, and I'll share it in a minute. I don't think our forefathers would recognize the 4th of July that we currently have. What I mean by that is that Benjamin Franklin would go, "What the hell are y'all doing?" George Washington go, "Are y'all at war? Why are y'all partying?"
It's it's one of those things you're not going to change every heart every time.
Right.
This is, and I hear this so often, and it kind of makes me a little bit frustrated because, like, it's not your job to de-radicalize somebody.
Right.
But it's everybody's job. This is our country too. And I'm proud of her. She's being a bit dumb right now, but everybody's got that cousin.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, I am correct. It's been confirmed. Okay. But here's the thing. Here's the thing I question a lot. Is she being dumb or is he being dumb? Because we see a lot of 4th of July with good old Uncle Sam.
Right.
Where is Lady Liberty in any of this? Where is Lady Mercury in any of this? Where is Lady Justice in any of this?
I don't know. And like I said, I totally understand. I understand why people are frustrated. I understand why they're pulling back.
Mm-hmm.
But if we do, then they're only going to see a target.
Mm-hmm.
When they need to see people.
Right.
We've become those dirty liberal hippies.
Right. Well, here's something I find interesting. And I learned it today, and thank you, TikTok, for teaching Aeson something he did not know about Benjamin Franklin. We know Benjamin Franklin formed the newspaper, the library, the mail system. We know that he wrote the Poor Richard's Almanac. Do you know what else he wrote?
No.
He wrote a pamphlet giving instructions for at-home abortions in a book in the 1700s. I think we've also proven that there is a history of abortions in the United States. Right. Both of, it's like, hello.
Oh. I see people who are so willing, they're so angry at what's going on. And I understand that. I feel that rage.
Right.
But we have to remember that we can't let them take our country from us.
Right. Germany only got Hitler into power because the people were so desperate and so tired, and many of them were not paying attention. I don't think they expected to see what happened here in the United States. I think that we will see more indictments coming out. I think January 6th committee has only touched the tip of what they plan to do.
What's going on with that? Because everything I've seen has just been like...
They're laying out every bit of the big lie. They're laying out everything that went on, every failure of duty, every failure in breaking of federal law. And they're basically handing the case over, will hand the case over to the Justice Department, but they have to lay it all out first because the American people need to know. Every bit of the American people need to know.
Right. I just find it disheartening that our side is so willing to give over the title.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I understand. I'm like, especially POC,
mm-hmm.
whose ancestors did not come here voluntarily, or whose ancestors were already here and got pushed around.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much other stuff. Like, there's still... Native Americans are still under attack.
Yeah. They still don't have sovereignty over their land they negotiated. It's like the governor in Oklahoma doesn't care that it's federal land. His laws do not work on that land. He says he's sending police across into federal land to enforce the Abortion Act. That means that the president of the time will have to send National Guard to fight against police invading the sovereignty of a treated land. Like, where is the sanity in this? Arizona's trying to form their own militia.
Yeah, they're still finding bodies in Canada from the schools.
They are. And that's just saddening. I think we're up to 6,000 now. And they've not even started digging here in the United States. We need to be looking to the Western United States going, where's the shovels? Those missions look like they don't have tilled ground on them. Let's move it along.
And that... I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we need to also worry about the people who are alive right now that are being,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with that stuff. I was hearing about the... oh God, it was on TikTok and I can't even remember.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you hear that the FCC is calling for Google and Apple to remove TikTok from the App Store?
That doesn't shock me, because that's about the only place you hear about a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. This is why I formed the Pagan Nexus. And if you're not a member of the Mountaineer Pagan Nexus, you don't have to be a Mountaineer. You just need to go sign up for it.
I mean, that is the one good thing about being in the modern era with all the social media. I mean, it's not good in the fact that we are constantly exposed to it, but we can hear about things going on in, with the other communities. We can keep in touch.
Right. We can begin building in touch.
Right.
To build our own stuff, we have to build our own ways of communication. We have to interlink with each other. Okay? We have to focus on that. We have to be ready to take force to fight for our lands.
I really think we need to. I mean, like I said, I understand why Native Americans would not want to do this. But I think we need to take our patriotism back.
Well, I think we need to redefine the United States for what it is. Ours. It isn't
Right.
Trumpians. It isn't Trump land. It isn't Biden land. It isn't Hillary Clinton land. It is America. And, the Americas have had a long-standing tradition in firing governments that don't work for us and redefining governments that don't work for us. It's occurred.
Yeah, we got to keep up. We got to keep up with politics. We got lazy because we thought the fight was over.
The fight was never over.
The fight was never over. The fight was never over. And I think that people didn't realize it until they started seeing the BLM marches and things like that starting.
Right.
And remember all the freaking memes from the January 6th, like, well, if they were BLM, they'd all be dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wouldn't be going through this. They would have killed them. And if any other country, you had a coup going on, you would not have a peaceful transfer of power and a mini government set up in freaking Mar-a-Lago.
Like I say, I'm an activist now, but honestly, like I went to the BLM marches.
Right. Well, I'll be honest, with your labels, there's no way you could never been an activist.
Yeah, there's no way around it. Just me being out here. Like I had always known I was going to be an advocate for mental health because that is my mental health is a big part of who I am. My neurodivergency, my depression, my anxiety. These are things that because I live with them and I choose to be a open and honest person, that people with those issues are going to come to me or are going to look to me because I'm talking about them.
Right.
And I kind of had hoped to be in some ways a lightning rod in those issues because that's something that we need to totally destigmatize. It's something that we should be talking about.
Yes, and that's something we need to talk about now because there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of internal media. There's a lot of things, including this show, guys. I'm part of the problem too.
Right.
That is feeding you information. Sometimes you have to disconnect. Now, when me and Dottie started working together, I got annoyed. She's gone every damn Sunday. Can't find her anywhere. She doesn't talk to media. She doesn't answer messages. The world could be blowing up, and I would have to send hounds from hell to go find Dottie.
Paul Revere.
He'd get lost. He got lost the last time. I ain't sending him. I'll call up Hades Hounds and have him go fetch you.
But yeah, like, you have to take a break for yourself. Like, an honest to God, like, if you've watched my channel, you've seen me go through depressive episodes. Like, you can see them. Right. I thought it was seasonal, but I guess it's not.
No.
But you can see there are periods where I stop posting anything.
Right.
Where I fall behind and I have to take a step back. I took a month and a half off last time.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do it.
Right. But there's times you have to take a step back. There's times you have to stop, get a journal, and start emptying out that mind of yours. And I know people get annoyed because I do journals and I do planners on my channels. The reason is because that keeps me sane. If I've got a schedule of what I need to do, I can't go bouncing off the walls when the Supreme Court shits out a new decision that is so illegal it's ridiculous. Because I've got to get to X, I've got to get to Y, I've got to get to J. But no, I've gone through depression. I've gone through major anxiety these past 3 weeks.
Right.
Where am I going to move to? How are we selling the house? How close am I to the Canadian border? Is the Mexican border better? Like, everyone's going to want to go to Canada because of the press that is given to the United States. Maybe we should go to Mexico. What's my rights in Mexico? What's my work permit status in Mexico? How much is
a lot of people that want to go to like Iceland and Greenland.
Huh?
Yeah, Iceland and Greenland and Norway.
Mm-hmm.
So where a lot of my people, but I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't want to leave my home. I would rather stay here and fight.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's a choice. And I think we're all may have to make that choice. But when it comes down to it, we've got to make choices that are best for our groups. And when I mean best for our groups, I mean our households.
Right. Because if we think this shit isn't contagious, if we don't think that this shit is also in other countries, we are sadly, sadly misinterpreting the world.
Well, what's interesting, however, is Canada and Mexico have both qualified these laws as Parliament made decision. No, as High Court made decision, Parliament made laws.
Oh, we should have codified it. Codified
Yeah,
it.
we have had 50 years of lazy senators and congressmen. I want some tax money back.
Honestly, and here's the thing, like the movement, they got what they wanted, and then and then politics became annoying, so there's a whole generation there who just think that pride is a party.
Right.
You know, they think pride is a personal thing, and it is.
Yes.
There is definitely a personal aspect to it. But the original purpose and the continuing purpose is to better our community
and to bring it together under a unifying statement to begin working with resources. Now, we've vendored the hell out because it got expensive to throw these events. City permits, protest permits, they cost money. They cost a lot of money.
Well, a lot of the vendors are like, you know, they've got foster parents, fostering programs, and things, and community voting, like West Virginia Can't Wait. That's another one. Like, they are a grassroots political group.
Good. But here's the thing, they need to be there.
Yes.
All the community resources need to be there. Covenant House should have had the biggest damn fucking booth there. Because I'm sorry, there isn't a harder working charity in this state.
Covenant House, yeah, I actually would take a lot of people there when I was working with the homeless. Like that, we called it the homeless hub.
Right.
Because they could get a shower, they could get food, they could get some basic medical care.
Yeah. That was started because Bar H and CAMC would not treat AIDS patients. Hospice would not take them. Good night, Sheila.
Good night, Sheila, sorry.
Sheila.
Whoa. I just can't give up on my country.
I know.
I would rather die here trying to fight for my rights than I would to run. I don't want to die a murder.
Right.
I would like just to go out and vote. And like I said, I don't blame anybody for not going to rallies.
Right.
Because honestly, they are more of a show. They are more of a show to get people who are already on the fence or on our side to wake up and see.
Right.
But what the more permanent action is all going to be quiet and behind the scenes.
Right.
It's going to be stuff you find out at the rallies.
Right.
Like the website, was it Know Your Ballot or something?
Yeah,
before a ballot.
Know Your Ballot, probably.
I have to look it up, but that wouldn't be a bad idea to. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm sorry, guys. But like, basically, Know Your Ballot. It was in the blog I did. The blog I did.
Okay, give me a second. I can pull that.
Like, I tried to put a lot of links in there. Things like, you know, making sure that not only are you registered to vote, but you're properly registered to vote. If you moved, you've got to update your registration
and your driver's license.
And your driver's license.
And take your voter's registration card with you. And check your voter's registration now. If you're not registered to vote, get your ass out and register to vote. You can do it from the seat of your car.
And remember, because the deadline to register to vote is in September, but you don't want to be up against that deadline.
Right.
And there is something to be voted for every 2 years, not every 4. It's not just for the presidency. It's for everything.
Right.
Because people get in these smaller offices and work their way up.
Right. Right. and find your polling places because they are moving them. They're going to do everything they can to not get people out to vote. However, Kentucky, you guys are having some of the biggest voting registration ever.
And that's something else we've got to consider, because voter restrictions are something that shouldn't be.
Right.
Like,
going out now. Go
Ballotpedia.
your ballot.
Yeah, Ballotpedia. Because there's some weird shit on there.
Right.
Like, did you know that they're asking us if we want to allow churches to become LLCs? They want to know if we want to let churches incorporate. What does that even mean?
Meaning that they would not be liable for their actions. You only have an LLC to protect you from lawsuits.
I don't think we should let them incorporate.
I don't think they should be incorporated. I think they should have to pay their taxes. And the minute they step into the political field, they lose the ability to not pay the state or federal taxes. Yeah, and prayers are allowed at school. Guess what? Anybody needs me to come hold circle at a high school football game? I'm free most Friday nights before the show.
You know, we always had like a moment of silence in the morning, and I thought that was okay. It's like nobody needs to know.
I think a moment of reflection. I think students should be taught, if they're going to teach religion, they need to teach them all, not just one. That means you call up a Hindu priest and you have them come and teach Hindu. You call up a Buddhist monk and have him come teach monk. We have seen that they can teleconnect us around the world. You're watching us, teleconnected. I could be teaching a class on Wicca to any place in the world.
The Satanic Church has already talked about how, you know, if they bring church back into school, that they're gonna start doing their thing too.
Right.
Because I mean, I'm not saying there shouldn't be space for people to practice their own personal religion but I mean, in the workplace, when you go out and get a job, they're not going to give you space or time to pray.
Debatable. There are many that have adjusted because of federal guidelines to give the hours of prayer off to our Muslims. There are many that have given us different holidays, but it depends on the workplace.
Most of them don't. They follow the state religion. They follow the state holidays. I almost said state religion, which is we're way too fucking close to reality right now.
Very much so.
I do not want to be part of a Christian ethno state.
Right. You know, and this is what happens when you've got to, and just a reminder, the election is November 8th for West Virginia.
You know who you're voting for.
Yes. And we will go through them one by one before that. And I will give you the pros and cons of everyone on the West Virginia ballot, just because. So you know who is for you and who is against you. You know, District 9, Senate District 9, I feel very sorry for you. Roland Roberts, the incumbent, is running unopposed to District 9. But we'll go through, I'll take time and go through these for my area.
Yeah. There are, because remember, there's also preliminaries, which they've already passed.
Right.
I think they're in May.
They are in May.
if you're interested in, oh god, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm trying to look more into West Virginia Can't Wait. They advertised at a Pride event a while ago.
Right.
And they have, they're very grassroots.
Right.
The whole thing they want to do is to limit the amount that corporations can affect our legislation.
Right.
Legislation.
Yeah, but West Virginia can't wait. We are tired of being number 50 in every damn survey that comes out there.
I don't know if we've improved or the rest of the country has gone to hell, but we're not there anymore. We're not the worst anymore. Yay!
Right.
Still got issues.
Oh, we got a lot.
How do I get rid of the fucking dogs? Like, I love dogs. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not voting for Baby Dog.
Oh, I ain't voting for Baby Dog for anything, including Ugly Dog Contest.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Baby Dog would have been a better governor.
Oh, I agree. I agree, honey.
They look the same.
Well, that's true. But, you know, I think the Baby Dog did make some better governmental moves. And, yes, in 2 years, he will be gone. But whose are we looking at being his replacement?
And I definitely think we should get rid of Joe Manchin because he has actively worked against his people.
Well, Joe Manchin's a useless fuck. Okay? He's not supposed to be running again. He's supposed to be doing lame ducking. And I'm trying to see if he's on the ballot this year or not.
Exactly. And a lot of the politicians in West Virginia are from out. They're senators. There's a long tradition of senators and governors and things like that who will buy property in West Virginia enough to get a foothold, enough to say that they're a resident.
Right.
When what they are a lot of the coal mining companies and things like that. That's how they got the power.
Right.
They weren't even from West Virginia. They just used us.
True. You know, and they are continuing to do so. How we could have had a mind boss as a governor is beyond my mind.
Oh my God. Do you remember when that Blankenship tried to run?
Yes.
I'm like, West Virginia, it ain't been long enough, buddy. But if he tried to run again in 5 years, he could probably get it.
Yeah. Because no one will remember him as a mind boss.
Who fucking killed people. Who got people killed.
Yes.
And they're striking down EPA rules, and they're striking down, Native American protection.
That's Morrissey. I'm sorry. He is a useless attorney general. He has continued to prosecute doctors. He has continued to run something that's already a scam. And he has continued to have Best Buy show up and park TVs in his house bigger and bigger every time he wins a case. And money goes into his special fund.
We need new blood.
We need new blood, but we also need new voter blood. We need every person over the age of 18, every person 18 and above in that voting box.
I agree. Because you think about it, people in my generation, pretty much, you think about it, people the left got complacent.
Right. And I also think that we need to, and if we want to get anything through, we need to really get out there and get out and vote. And, we're going to hopefully have, if you're not registered to vote and you're coming to Pagan Pride, we're going to have voting ballots there for you.
Have somebody
Bring
help
your
you
ID.
sign up to register or register to vote?
To register to vote. It's in September. I know that's past our deadline, but the point is to get it voted.
I think the deadline to get registered to vote is because it's in my. I actually did a video telling people, you remember, and this was one of my favorite ones because I did a cause of the month there for a long time, and one of them was registering to vote. And I did it in September because I think the deadline is like October 1st or 2nd.
Did you put it in your article?
No, I didn't, but I can find you a link real quick. Because it's one of my favorite. Because I was like, what if the chick from The Ring was trying to get you to sign up to vote? It's very red, white, and blue.
Right.
Very kind of creepy. Where you at? Where you at? I'm getting ready to change some things around on my channel. Like, I've been meaning to do it for a long time because a lot of my high art has gotten buried and it makes me sad. This was like, God, it's been a while now. I haven't realized it's been over a year since I've done any of the cause of the month videos.
Right.
Some of my best videos were cause of the month videos.
Right.
Get shareable link. There we go. Okay, here we go. I have nowhere to just drop this, do I? I'll put it in private chat and you can...
I can move it. Thank you. But it's 21 days before voting. So if we're voting on November the 8th, 21 days before that. So 3 weeks before that.
And if you can't make it to Pagan Pride and you still want to register to vote, you can do that at the Capitol.
You can do that at home right now.
You can do that. Actually, there's a link in the thing.
Yeah.
In that article.
Register to vote. Go vote.
Yeah.
Make your voices heard. I don't care if your opinions don't match ours. You make your voices heard.
Right. Yeah. There was a link to register to vote in that article I wrote, in that blog post. Because I was upset when I wrote it.
Well, good. I need to get you pissed off more often.
It's not where I like to live. But that's
I
just where we are
understand,
right
but
now.
damn it, girl, you do good work when you're mad.
I do better work when I am passionate about a subject, and I have been very passionate about this one, yes.
Yes. But, you know, that's the key. Here it is. Thank you, Dottie. I love it when you do pre-research. And thank you for coming on tonight.
Oh, no problem.
Okay.
Y'all, and if you find links to things, private message them to me.
Yeah.
I will gladly blast them out into the ether.
Exactly. And that's on all platforms. For me also. My baristas know you bring me a news article, I'll chew it up. I do want to talk about something, though. If you're a TikTok person, you know Mama Tot. You should know Mama Tot. As we know, her son got shot in Mobile, Alabama. They are looking for the people that done that. If you have knowledge of it, please contact your local police force. Let's get this idiot off the street. Or idiots.
What was that about?
He was 18. The next day he was going to be 19. And he goes to a gas station, possibly to buy substances, possibly not. Like, there's a lot going on there that hasn't been released. And he was shot in the shoulder and left that gas and was able to drive from that gas station to another one, and he passed away.
Yeah, because I'd seen her TikTok and I was very sad. Like,
yeah. And you know what was even sadder? She had to hire security because people thought her funeral was a meet and greet.
Yeah. It's messed up.
Yeah.
I'm like, to have that blow up.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. The whole
Yeah.
thing's sad. Okay,
Yeah.
we're about an hour and a half in.
Yep. We've reached our time, guys. Thank you so much, Dottie, for joining me tonight. You'll be back. We'll get you a little bear shirt. Feed you a few cheeseburgers. Get you out of Twink Zone.
I do kind of look like a twink when I go full man. Like,
I know you do.
I got my suit and everything. I look like.
You look amazing.
Why, thank you.
I enjoy when you dress up as a man. You do drag king very well.
I actually got rid of my breast binder. Like, that's just not going to be part of my drag because I just can't. These tits will not be denied.
We'll get your corset instead.
I just don't like squishing them down. That is the only time I've ever actually because I wasn't thinking of full transition or anything crazy like that, but I was trying on being a man. And so I made the mistake, that amateur mistake of getting an ace bandage.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't get it down tight enough because it's uncomfortable. Anything that's going to push your boobies down like that is uncomfortable.
Okay. It is. And, we'll talk about that off air on how to fix that. Or duct tape, baby girl. But thank you for coming on. Looks like Joe has slid in for the last few moments and for a little bit of the show, so I'm going to pull him up. You go on to bed, darling.
Good night.
Lovely evening. Hello, my long-lost husband. How are you?
Hello, I finally made it home.
Uh-huh. I thank you so much for running.
No problem, no problem. It was a little bit of a drive, but
Yeah.
car did great.
Wonderful.
Not sure the invisible assistant's okay, but we shall see.
Wow.
I think someone had a horrible, horrible day. So
yeah, it's been a rough few days for him.
Yes, very much so.
Mama. All right. Now, we were talking about this, and I'm glad you're here because you can read this. Sorry, we have been all over the place tonight.
No, that's fine.
So, here, you take this.
All right. Let me see what we got. Come on. There we go. Oh, goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That's a heck of a story. So, yeah, a TikToker whose 18-year-old son was shot to death asked fans not to think badly of him after police said he was...
Or him. Well, her son and her, because she came on with all this hate, so upset. And so, like, I've got this hate I don't know what to do with. And it's like, we've got the hate for you, too.
Yeah, that's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so her child was shot by police basically while selling marijuana?
No, her child was shot by somebody while either selling or buying marijuana.
Oh. Yeah, I know. Like,
Yeah.
Really?
Like,
we're still there on marijuana?
Yeah. But no, was not shot by police, but shot by somebody that we do not know who it was. They are still currently looking for information. And this is a developing story. Yes, we will be following it.
Yeah. Why do I feel like I know this TikToker?
Because she's Mama Todd. You see her all the time on my YouTube, on mine, and I've sent you videos of hers.
Okay. Like, I'm trying to place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell! Everyone knows her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. She has done so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, my gosh. That for the Mama Todd.
Yeah.
That is absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Do you have an Am I the Asshole? If not, we're going to close out tonight a little early.
All right, let's go ahead and close out a little early because
All
I do not have one. I was looking for one earlier today, and it just was. It didn't happen.
All right, guys. We will have a better show for you on Tuesday. We do have a guest, but we will be ready to rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to thank Dottie the Psychic for coming on. Her links are in the bio. If you've not subscribed to her, go subscribe to her. We want to thank her for coming on. She's always got our back as we've got hers. And you guys have an amazing, happy 4th of July. And I do want to say publicly, happy birthday, Joe.
Oh, not yet.
Yeah, well, it's an early one. You can watch it later, but happy 40th birthday, honey.
Thank you. It's like, come on, I got 13 more minutes of 39. Let me enjoy it.
Okay. All right, guys, you have an amazing weekend. Be safe. Remember, fireworks do not go in your hands. Let the professionals deal with them. Go watch them. Go enjoy them. But do not be giving them up yourself. And we will see you on Tuesday. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, your time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no flight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time.